how much effect, Ryan, do you feel like your reporting has had to affect the ability for people to see through some of this stuff? Like, it seems very dense for people, the amount of propaganda that's coming at us. Are people like you and me making a difference at all?
Oh, that's 100%. I mean, I don't even know how that's like. It's a valid question, but look at what happened during COVID-19. Look at what happened during many different topics. Look at what's happening with the Israel conversation right now. People are pushing through. Like, I guess the easiest way to frame it is, I've been doing this long enough to see that there was a time not long ago where the corporate media would engage with the independent media only periodically to kind of stick their nose up and be like, that's how silly, right? How these little children with and it was never leading the conversation. It was only when it was, maybe got enough reach to where they had to kind of put their foot on it. Today, it's almost nearly the exact opposite, where right now the independent media is almost predominantly leading the conversation. Their work pretty much, it's constantly batting away what they're being, this story is fake and that's not real, and here's what they're saying about this. What that shows you is that we're now controlling the conversation to a degree as the independent media. Doesn't mean everyone's telling the truth. There's plenty of liars in the independent media, but the point is that they are no longer at lock, stock, and like completely controlling what we're saying and the flow of information through that. And so we're winning to a large degree. And I think that's why the World Economic Forum, for the second year now, not in a row, I think it was the first one, now this one, saying that their focus is rebuilding trust, because we don't trust them. People aren't buying what they're selling. And the last point is that during COVID-19, we talked about this, where you can see the failure of who's taking those shots. They're telling you from a top level propaganda effort, you have to take these ones. And the last ones, what did it end up with? Single percentages. And they didn't say any less. They said, you need this next one. And the people that already took 4 were like, I don't know, I'm going to go ahead and wait on this one. What does that look like? Right? That's an effect. We're reaching them. I think that's positive.
Okay, Scott McVicker, this is a shade of the question previously asked. Has your guest found an effective way breaking through the mental barriers people have with regards to reality? If you can turn enough readers, the story will be forced to change. So I guess the question is maybe also related to just, us at home, like not necessarily somebody like you, Ryan, who does extensive research and presents a show and everything. Have you found an effective way of breaking through the mental barriers people have in regards to, I think, in order to sharing it in a different opinion? Do you have any thoughts on people having just one-on-one conversations too, not just doing what you're doing specifically, but advice for people who are like just sitting down with somebody at coffee and the person says one thing that's clearly a parrot of CNN, and you kind of want to say, I'm not totally sure about that, and do it in an effective way.
Yeah, I mean, there's really just being calm and not aggressive with the way you're relaying information, and really to think about what your goal is. I had someone close to me that I had this conversation with that I argued, I'm not arguing, I believe what his stance was correct, but he would then go and engage with people that he saw as, morons, lost, and, wearing this mask and taking the vaccine. And so he would talk to them. And instead of, and I argue his goal was truly to try to inform them. That's what at least he thought his goal was, but it ended up being a ridicule session, right? Laughing at them and trying to shove this stuff in their face. And so I asked him, I said, what's your goal? What's your actual goal? Is your goal just to feel better than they are? To shove it in their face and be like, you're stupid, which is not going to get them to change their mind? Or is your goal to actually change their mind for their benefit? Like, what do you, and I honestly asked him, what are you trying to accomplish? Because if you just want to laugh at them, then you're doing it right. But if you're trying to get them to change their mind, you need to come at it from a different perspective, right? And so you need to be calm about it. You need to be measured and stick to what you can prove. But even then, as we know, that often doesn't work today. So one other way to do it is and this only works if you don't really know this person, but you can come at it from a level that is trying to find common ground. And you can call this slightly dishonest, but like in a white lie sort of way. But to come at it from a way that like creates common ground. And you can say like, let's just take it from like a masking conversation and say like, yeah, man, I'm so glad people are starting to mask again. But, I saw this study that kind of confused me. And it says that this, I don't know if I believe it, but what do you think? And you give it to them. And so in their mind, they're going, okay, we're on the same page. This guy's on my side. And so then you remove the skepticism block and they engage with what they're looking at. And then all of a sudden they're going, whoa, yeah, that's peer reviewed. What? That's crazy. That definitely says the opposite of what I think. And so it gets through that barrier. That's one way to do it. So there's a lot of ways to do this. The bottom line is to be calm about it, present factual information, and then the analogy best is you water the seed. You plant the seed, And if they scream and they're angry, you just go, okay, you walk away. But you try, if you care about them, to come back later and you water the seed a little bit. Here's a new study. Did you get a chance to look at what I talked about? Okay, walk away. Don't engage with the negativity, because they'll dig in and they'll never stop.
One tactic I'm not great at as an extrovert is just like sometimes just being very quiet and like waiting for the next sentence of theirs to come out, and the next, because you think they're done talking, and then eventually stuff will come out that they will maybe sometimes see they don't actually know as much as they think they know. But if you get into arguing right away, like you jump in, you cut them off. We're at the grocery store a couple days ago, and this lady was wearing a mask, and my 3-year-old goes, "Why are you wearing a mask?" And I didn't say anything. I think she like looked at me to explain it to my daughter, and I just stared at her. And we just sat there in silence for probably a good, I know it was an uncomfortable, maybe like 7 seconds, which is actually quite a bit of silence with a stranger. Yeah. And then she, said, "Well, I'm sick and I don't want to get any other people sick." And I go, "Well, I hope you feel better. Drink while you still can in privacy at AllisonWinePromo.com. You get 50% off my favorite wines and 50% off shipping. These are high altitude, extremist altitude Malbecs from Argentina. They're far fewer pesticides in this region. It's very dry. The grapes work very hard for you, and it's worth it. Can't get them at the grocery store. Why would you want to? Great company that is very free speech, has never told me what I can say, who I can talk to, any of that stuff, which is hard to find these days. And also they make a great product. So don't forget AllisonWinePromo.com. I have a P.O. box. You can send me some mail. P.O. Box 3355, Denellen, Florida, 34432. I love getting letters. Love getting your winning only lottery tickets, please. Anything else you want to send other than like really creepy, I'm going to kill you with magazine letter cutout things. And then no edibles, because I'm not going to eat them. I'll think that you're probably poison me. So other than that, it's a great way to support my work too. Even if it's just sending me a note of encouragement. Love reading your mail. Okay. Tell everybody where they can follow you and how they can support your work.
TheLastAmericanVagabond.com, the best way to do it. I mean, we've got our donation portal on the website. You just scroll up slightly, you'll see it on the right. It's the best way, I think, to support us, which is just to go on the donation portal, sign up for, $1 a month, never think about it again. But we've got our Substack and all of our different links down there. You can see the donation tab there, just a, bunch of ways to support us. But really my most important thing is just share the work, read it, talk about it, share it with your friends, have conversations about it. And, disagree. I just want people to talk about this stuff.